Ethan Stokes here with Lake Pro Tackle. Today we print off a few screenshots from one of my Lowrance units. We're going to talk about some marine electronics and how to read them. All right, today we're going to talk about some side imaging and some down imaging. And we're going to start off here with some side imaging. First thing people look at it is they might be able to understand what they're seeing to the side of each side of the boat pretty easily. But a lot of times it's this dark area here in the middle and that center line that throws people off, and they're not really quite sure what it is or what they're looking at. So an easy way to explain it is to print one out, and then you fold it where the lake bottom starts, in the center, where that center line was, and then where the lake bottom is on the other side. And when you fold it, it'll kind of give you a pretty accurate representation of what it is. That dark area right here, that's your water columns directly underneath the boat. So that center line you saw was your transducer, essentially. And it's the space between it and the bottom of the lake. So stuff you see showing up in there like this laydown tree, that's going to be directly underneath the boat. And then everything you see from the side is going to be out to either the left or right side of your boat. And a good rule of thumb for side imaging is about adjust it out to about 3 times the water depth. So if you're in 20 feet, adjust it to 60 feet each side. That'll usually give you your best picture. Certain units, these newer ones, you can expand them out further, maybe 5 or 6 times water depth in certain situations. But another thing is always mess with your contrast to help give you the different shadows and help make your image clear and be able to more easily identify what you're looking at. Now, over time, you'll learn exactly how everything shows up on side imaging. You'll be able to see what's big slab rock, what's some more chunk rock, then what goes to a softer sand or small pea gravel bottom. But until you get comfortable with it, immediately recognizing it, mark a spot, go through, fish it with a jig, Carolina rig or something you have a good contact with the bottom and good feel with, and just start learning what it is, start learning to be able to differentiate. All right, I see this on here. Yep, that's rock, feel it through the jig, then start associating that with what you see on there later on. They'll help you more easily idle through an area and let you cover a lot more water quicker, knowing exactly what you're looking at. Now, with down imaging, when you're marking fish schools, you don't ever see the big arcs like you do with your 2D sonar that a lot of people got used to using and have been accustomed to for a long time. So what you're going to see with your down imaging, and even on side imaging too, you'll see them. A lot of times you're shooting too far out to really see up close. But with the down imaging, bass will usually school up in almost a big carpet across the bottom, like a big line of golf balls sitting down there, actively feeding on the bottom. Sometimes you'll see them up off the bottom, but every fish will school up differently. So you kind of got to fish through some spots, try to catch a few fish when you mark them, and try to associate how they were schooled up with a species. Crappie will kind of school up in a pile up off the bottom, from the bottom up. A lot of times when you move over striper schools, especially out here on Lake Texoma, they're moving so fast, they'll actually be big streaks going through your graph. And you'll see them a lot of times on side imaging out suspended, you'll see the shadows from them. But that's kind of a good way to see some active fish is if they're streaking, making long lines and not just these little dots. They're moving really fast, they're chasing, they're active. When they're like this, they're typically associated with the bottom like that. They'll feed on the bottom, might be able to run a crankbait through them, get their attention, but they're not feeding up off the bottom chasing bait. So I hope this helps you. If you have any more questions about units or 2D imaging, we can help answer those in another video, and hopefully this will help you out there on the water.